Oscar Romero became Archbishop of San Salvador in a country where the poor were disappearing. Bodies were being found beside roads, and armed power expected the church to keep its voice inside the sanctuary. Weeks after his appointment, gunmen murdered his friend, Father Rutilio Grand, with 2 people traveling beside him. Romero walked into the grief and saw that silence would not be neutrality. Silence would protect the men with guns. He listened to families. He gathered reports of abduction, torture, and murder. Then he carried their names into homilies and radio broadcasts. The microphone became a door through which hidden suffering entered the conscience of a nation. Threats followed, churches were attacked, priests and laypeople were killed. Romero did not preach revenge. He demanded truth, defended the poor, and called the men carrying weapons back under the law of God. On March 23, 1980, after another week of killing, Romero spoke directly to soldiers. No order from a man could cancel God's command against murder. Conscience was not cowardice. It was the line they must refuse to cross. His appeal rose to its hardest point. In the name of God, cease the repression. It was his last radio broadcast. He went home knowing every person with a receiver had heard him confront the machinery of death. The next evening, Romero celebrated Mass in the chapel of the Divine Providence Hospital. A car stopped outside. As he stood at the altar, a gunman fired 1 shot into his heart. The United Nations Truth Commission later found that former Major Roberto D'Aubuisson ordered the assassination. The truth Romero served outlived the men who believed a bullet could settle it. Romero's strength was not political rage dressed as religion. It was a pastor's refusal to abandon people whose lives power had made disposable. He stood at the altar because Christ had already stood with the persecuted. We ought to obey God rather than men. Acts 5:29, King James Version. When authority orders sin, do not hide behind the order. Recover your conscience. Obey God, make the violence stop with you.